Hello viewers, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Mark. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Today I'm going to be making my version of potato gems. So basically what we've got is just potatoes, which I'll peel. I've got some water here, I'm going to put that on. Salted water, a little bit of flour, Parmesan cheese, garlic salt. The reason why I'm using garlic salt is I don't want too much moisture, and some pepper. So what I'll do is I'll get these potatoes peeled, and then we'll get them on. So all our potatoes are peeled. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut them in half, and then put them into the water. We're only going to partially cook these. We don't want them so they're mushy. Just want to soften them so that when we do fry them, that they're partially cooked. So I've halved them, put them into our water. Bring that to the boil. It'll probably only take about 5 to 6 minutes to cook them to how soft we want them. Like I said, we don't want them to be mushy. So our potatoes have been on for about 5 to 10 minutes, 6 minutes now. They're just softened. So what I'm going to do is going to turn them off. I'm going to take them off, drain them, and let them cool. They need to be cool so you can grate them when they're cool. So that'll probably take about an hour for them to cool down enough so you can grate them. So I'm just going to sit them on there, let them cool down, and then we'll come back when they're cool. So our potatoes are cool now. So what we're going to do in a mixing bowl, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of the garlic and salt. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of flour and around 1 teaspoon of pepper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grate those potatoes into that, and I'll add my cheese in last. So grab your potatoes and we're just going to grate them into there. This is why you don't want them too soft, because otherwise you won't be able to grate them, they just turn to mush. So what we're going to do is once we've done this, we'll mix it all together and then turn them into little balls. Put them on a plate, and they will go into the freezer for about an hour before we actually fry them. So I'll get there, I'll get all these grated up and mixed all together, and then I'll show you once I start making them into balls. So we've got all our potatoes grated and mixed together. What I'm going to add to that is some Parmesan cheese. You might have to add a little bit more flour depending on how moist your potatoes were. So what I'm going to do is once I've got that, mix that Parmesan cheese through. And what I'm going to do is actually take some of that and just turn it into a ball. So you've got a ball like that, And then I'm just going to put it onto a greased tray. And then what I'll do is, because these need to be firm before I put them into the oil, they'll go into the freezer for about an hour. That way the outside will be nice and hard, and when they go in the oil they won't fall apart. So what will happen is you'll have a crunchy outside, and the inside will be nice and cooked and fluffy still. So I'll get all these made up, and then I'll show you just before I put them in the freezer. So there we go, they're all mixed up. You want them about the size of a golf ball. So what I'll do now is I'll put those in the freezer and let them set up before I start cooking them. About an hour in the freezer. Should be long enough depending how cold your freezer is. You want it so that the outside of them is really firm, and what will happen is when you put them in the oil they won't fall apart. So I'll do that, and then we'll come back and cook them. So our potato things have had about an hour in the freezer, so they're nice and firm. I've got some oil which I put on earlier, which is heating up. Just going to probably put about 2 or 3 of those in there at a time. Don't want to crowd it, don't want to make the oil too cool. I'll just move this across. So what we're going to do is cook them until they're golden brown. What I'll do is these potato gems, I'll leave them in the freezer just while they're cooking, so they don't defrost too much. Make sure they're not sticking to the bottom. They'll probably take a couple of minutes, probably 4 or 5 minutes to cook. Just make sure your oil's not too hot, otherwise you'll burn them. So we'll cook them up, and we'll come back, and we'll show you what they look like when they're cooked. So you just want to keep an eye on them, make sure they don't stick to the bottom. But when they're nearly cooked, they'll float to the top. And you can see they come out really nice golden, and they have a crunchy coating on the outside, and the inside is just really soft and beautiful. And that Parmesan cheese melts through it. You can use any cheese that you like. I just like the taste of the Parmesan once it's melted through the potato. So yeah, when they're cooked, they come out like that. So just drain them on some absorbent paper, and you see that crunchy coating you get on the outside makes them really delicious. So just put some more in there. Like I said, don't overcrowd the pot. Just 3 at a time, and just keep an eye on them so they don't stick to the bottom. So there you go, folks. They're cooked. There was more, but because they were so yummy, we've been eating them as they've been cooking. So, as I said, they're nice and crunchy on the outside and really soft on the inside. And you've got that gooey cheese, which is melted through them. So that's it for this week, folks. Stay safe. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And I'll see you next week for another episode. Bye.